to come on top. Welcome everyone to the Giles Frontier. I'm Holly and this is Charity, and welcome to our back porch today. Today is all about repurpose and reuse. We're going to show you lots of different holiday ideas to do with things you might have in your own backyard. And Charity is here to get us started. She is a chicken that we've had here at the Giles Frontier. She's almost 8 years old, if you can imagine. And she lays the most beautiful green eggs you have ever seen. And she's a little camera shy today, but that's okay. We're going to give her a little scratch and let Grant take her back to the coop. You want some scratch? All right. That's their favorite treat ever, is scratch. So we'll give her a little scratch. And Grant's here. He's going to take her for us and put her back, woo, in the coop. Here we go. A little chicken craziness around here. All right, well, I have lots of different things I want to share with you. But real quick, I'm going to check something because I am not able to see. Oh, I do see. Okay, Kristen's on and I can see comments. All right, that's okay. Don't worry about it. So the first thing I want to tell you about is we're going to make coasters. And a couple of years ago, I saw coasters in a store that were, you know, vintage inspired, kind of old fashioned, and they were made to look like mason jar lids. And I looked at them for a little while and I thought, I think I could figure that out. So what I did is I use wide mouth mason jar lids and rings, and I glue the ring inside the lid. And I'll just tell you, I do not use hot glue for this because I did that before and they came apart not too long after. So I use something like tacky glue or anything else that's a glue that needs to set up for a little while. So I'll glue the lid in, and then I had, this is contact paper that's cork, but you know, you can buy cork in a roll or just a sheet of cork at your local craft store. So what I did was I used the ring as our template and cut circles out of the cork. Now, when I cut my circles, they end up like this. And they do have a sticky part on the back, but we're going to glue it as well because we want to make sure that it's nice and glued. But we want to put a little design in here. And my favorite one that we ended up doing was our hen. I have a beautiful hen stamp that I've used for lots of different things. And so I made a set of 4 for family members a couple of years ago using our hen. And then our sons, of course, they're into fishing. And we have a cool fishing stamp. It's just a regular stamp. I use an ink, something like this. It's a permanent style ink that won't run, because it has been a success. Everyone that uses them has still been using them after a year. The ink doesn't bleed. They put their drippy cups in here and it works great. You could use the regular mouth, but the large mouth, wide mouth, will fit most cups. So you'll be pretty successful with that. So what we would do is get our stamp. And I'm gonna do another hen. And just try to get it right in the center. So I've got my stamp on there. And I will use our glue. And I'll put a nice ring of glue all over the center of this lid. And I will peel this sticky paper off of the cork, maybe. And then I will just set it right down inside. It should be a perfect fit because you have used that lid as your template. And fit it right down in there. You might want to mash it down a couple of times to get the glue to spread around. And then I would let them dry overnight. And when I give it as a gift, I usually do a set of 4. You could do different designs, different stamps, We also have a strawberry one, which I thought would be really cute. You probably could use some Sharpie markers to fill in there if you wanted to and give it some color. There's just lots of different things that you could do. The ink and the stamps work really well, but you could also freehand draw something if you wanted to. But I think these are just adorable. They make a really nice gift. And talk about inexpensive. It's a very inexpensive gift. You could make several sets out of one box of the wide mouth jar lids. So that is our first craft that we're going to show you. I did do a strawberry on one that turned out kind of cute in a red ink. And then we have one that's a coffee cup. It says coffee and tea, which turned out really cute too. You can see that. So there's lots of different things you can do that. You could have your children draw something on there. Just lots of different things. It's a great keepsake for grandparents or aunts and uncles, and they do work and they do last because my mother-in-laws are still working pretty good. But just remember not to use a glue gun for this particular craft because the glue, once it dries, it will pop out. All right, so that was our first hen craft. Our second one is I made some ornaments out of chicken feathers. Now, you don't have to have chickens to have ornaments like this. I was thinking, what a great way if your kids on nature walks, they have a collection, and sometimes it ends up in a shoebox or maybe it ends up in the garbage. And you can collect duck feathers or different leaves, even all those things in nature. And what a great way to make an end of the year keepsake would be to make an ornament out of it. So I'm using just regular styrofoam balls from the craft show, a craft store. And what I did for the hook is really just a piece of twine. And how I did that was just took a pair of scissors and I just poked a hole in the styrofoam ball. I'll cut my twine to whatever size that I want, loop it around. And then I will use a glue gun for this particular project. I would suggest using a glue gun. Today I have a nasty blister from where I burnt myself really good working on these ornaments, so you have to be careful with that. And then what I do is I put some glue down in the hole, and then I stick the twine down in the hole and put a little bit more of the hot glue on top, and then let that dry, and you're ready to go. So this first one, it's very breezy here today on the porch. So if things start flying, you know what's happening. Very breezy, windy day. So our first one is from our Barred Rock hen. And we only have 3 chickens here at the Giles Frontier right now. So we just collect them over time and keep them in a Ziploc bag. That's all I do. And separate them if you want to. But I thought it was just beautiful. You know, the feathers are beautiful. They're black and white. I thought that guinea fowl, their feathers are beautiful, and that would make a lovely ornament. Duck feathers, leaves, anything that you might have been collecting this year on your nature walks or out in your backyard, you could make a beautiful keepsake ornament. So all I did here was using hot glue. So this one kind of is a funky one because I have the feathers going up and out, and all I did was layer it. I started from the bottom, and I just started gluing around the bottom, and I continued to layer it, and then I went back and kind of filled in the holes. All I used was hot glue, and that's what I turned out with this one. Our next one, which is kind of my favorite, was from 2 different hens. Maybe. The top, I'll turn it on the top so you can see. So the top is actually feathers from Charity, who was up here with me a few minutes ago. They have beautiful copper color feathers. They're copper and browns and blacks, and they're just gorgeous. And so I use those at the top, and I put those at the end. So with this one, I started, let's see if I can get a good angle where it's not bright. is, again, I just layered them. The feathers are going down and around. Hot glue, that's all it is. And I kind of did a quadrant pattern so then I could go back and fill in. And then when I was done, I took those feathers and kind of finished off the top so it would be pretty. I just think these are really kind of cool. And if you have a friend that loves chickens, that would be awesome. Like I said, we only have 3 hens, so it's not like we have 20 chickens. We're going out and gathering all these feathers. We just kind of do it over time because their feathers are so beautiful. We've also stuck them in our tree over here as part of our decoration. But again, think of the beautiful things that you find on a nature walk or things you find in your own backyard. You could use acorns around the top, beautiful leaves, magnolia leaves, all different kinds of things. So it doesn't have to be a chicken or a hen. It could be something that you find on a nature walk. I just thought this was an awesome way to repurpose those feathers that are always blowing around in the backyard. All right. Now the last handicraft I want to share with you is plants. I love giving live plants as gifts at the holidays, for birthdays, or any time of the year. And what I have here is a chicken waterer. I'm trying to see where you can see it here. This is a chicken waterer. And what this is the top that went to it, is these fit down over the top and they have a mechanism that holds pressure. Well, over time, that kind of gives out and the water doesn't work anymore. The water just overflows and doesn't stay. And I just think they're really kind of cool looking, and I didn't want to throw them away. So we actually have a couple here that I've stashed so my husband doesn't see, because I know there's a project waiting for it somewhere. One idea I thought about was using this as the top for a lantern that you can hang up outside, filling it either with mason jars full of lights or just lights themselves. You could also drill a pattern on the outside so that the light came out. And that's just a project I haven't gotten to yet. So I'm just letting this age a little while longer in the yard till I get to it. You would also have to drill a hole in the top for the cord to come out unless you use battery operated lights. So we're gonna hopefully by the end, we will use both of these pieces of the water for some type of a project. What I did to the base before we came on was I drilled holes in the bottom for drainage, but I also drilled holes in the well where the water used to collect so that the water would drain from that as well. It already has a nice little handle so that you can move it around to different places. And I love the galvanized metal. It just has that old vintage feel. And I love using this on our back porch. So what you can do is get different types of plants if you want to give it as a gift, or just keep it on your back porch yourself. And what I chose are some violas and some pansies. These are great this time of year because they love the cooler weather, and they're beautiful, beautiful little plants. So I chose 3 different plants. I chose 2 of those, and then this is called Creeping Jenny. And what that's going to do is it's going to fall and kind of cover the outside of our water over time. So I'm going to take, and this is a small water, so the 3 plants ought to be enough. I've already put rocks in the bottom, and I've filled it with dirt up to about here. We're going to set our plants just right on top. That's about the height that I want. I love violas. They almost look like little smiling faces at you, don't they? And we're going to set them back in here. All right. Now I'm going to take the Creeping Jenny, and it's a little bit different color of a green, gives it a different kind of look. And we're going to put this right in front. Right here, and just kind of spread around what's already been growing. And it's just an instant bouquet. I mean, just an instant container garden ready to go. Look how beautiful that is. Isn't that gorgeous? And so this is going to continue to grow down. These are going to grow out and kind of hang down a little bit. And they were very inexpensive. So the pot, the water itself, we repurposed from the yard. And our plants were $1 each at a local home improvement store. So now I'm going to fill in the holes after the show. Fill in the holes and pack it down and water it. And you could put a beautiful ribbon on there if you wanted to. You could do a nice burlap ribbon, something like that. But I think this would make a fabulous gift for a friend, your mother-in-law, your sister, in-laws, all those different things. I just think it's a wonderful gift. Giving fresh flowers that will continue to grow is a great thing. I also like to give herbs and those types of things in pots as gifts as well. You can buy lettuce that's already blooming, already has a nice, good size head on it. Put that in a small pot with some mint or some rosemary, and you just have a beautiful little display. It's something that they'll keep using for quite a while, and they'll think of you often. And it's a great gift that they can eat, and then they can have the pot, lots of different things. Another thing I want to share before we close our homemade holidays today is the pansies. I love to get those, so definitely get one for yourself as well, because we're going to use our flower press. I don't think you can see that very well. Our flower press to press the pansies. We make these flower presses here at the Giles Frontier. Grayson and Grant make those. And we collect the pansies when they're almost spent, and we dry them. We've used them in making cards and making bookmarks. It's very easy to do. We just press them between construction paper and cardboard, and they're just beautiful. They retain most of their color, and you can use them in a lot of different things. I have even made jewelry using the dried flowers. So definitely get some pansies yourself. All you would do is, we're going to sacrifice one of our pansies here. Let me get where you can see. We're going to find one that's nice and pretty. We're just going to snip it right as close to the back end as possible, very close. And then you're just going to lay it flat like that. And then you'll use your secondary construction paper to cover it. And then you'll close your flower press like that. You're going to close them with the screws and things that come with it. And the pressure is going to keep it down. It's going to make it nice and flat. And when they dry, there's so many things that you can do with them. You can find our flower presses at our website, the Giles Frontier, and the link is in the show notes. You can also find lots of different information on our Giles Frontier membership community. And that is where we're doing about 10 or more homemade holidays this month. We have handicrafts and recipes. We have out-of-the-box things, and most all of them, any children of all ages are able to participate. It's a beautiful day. I hope it's a beautiful day where you live, and I appreciate you joining me here today on the Giles Frontier on our back porch. On Thursday, we'll be back again at noon. We will be right in the middle of our Prairie Life Book Club party. All those who live near Central Florida will be joining us here at the Giles Frontier, where we've turned our property into 1890s gold rush. And we are going to have a blast, and we're excited to bring that to you. Just a little snippet of what's going on, especially for those children who are across the country that can't come here, who joined us during book club. We're excited to see them again and show them what we're doing here. Enjoy your week, and we will see you again on Thursday at noon.